I watched him kill 3 men with his bare hands to protect me, and I wasn't even supposed to fall in love with him. This is the story of how a simple waitress became the most dangerous woman in the city, all because she said yes to one Christmas dinner. What happens next will break your heart, put it back together, and then shatter it again. Before we begin, comment below where you're watching from. Are you team fake it till you make it, or team never trust a criminal? Let's see where everyone stands. Now, let me tell you about the Christmas that changed everything. Her name was Sienna, 28 years old, brown eyes that had seen too much sadness, hands that trembled when she counted her tips at the end of each shift. She worked at Pearl's Diner on 5th Street, the kind of place where the coffee was always burnt and the regulars knew your name. She'd been there for 6 years. 6 long, exhausting years of double shifts and fake smiles. But Sienna had a secret. Her little brother, Tommy, was dying. Leukemia. Stage 4. The doctors gave him 6 months without treatment. With treatment? Maybe 2 years. Maybe more. The cost? $300,000. Sienna had $17,000 in savings. She'd been working 3 jobs, sleeping 4 hours a night. Her hands were covered in burns from the diner's grill. Her back ached so badly she could barely stand by closing time. It wasn't enough. It would never be enough. December 20th, 5 days before Christmas. The diner was decorated with fake snow and sad little tinsel. Sienna was wiping down tables when the door opened. The temperature in the room dropped. Everyone stopped talking, because Vincent Kane had just walked in. Vincent Kane, 34 years old, 6'3", dark hair, darker eyes, a scar that ran from his left eyebrow to his cheekbone, the kind of face that belonged on ancient coins or war memorials. He wore a black suit that probably cost more than Sienna made in a year. But it wasn't the suit that made people afraid. It was what everyone knew he did for a living. Vincent Kane ran the East Side. All of it. The clubs, the businesses, the protection rackets. When the police wanted to arrest someone important, they had to ask Vincent for permission first. When the mayor needed a problem to disappear, he called Vincent. People whispered that Vincent had killed his first man at 16. That he'd taken over his father's organization at 23 by putting a bullet in his own uncle's head. That he'd once made a man who'd stolen from him dig his own grave before. Well, the stories got darker from there. Vincent sat down at the counter. Sienna's boss, Jerry, immediately disappeared into the back. The other waitress, Monica, suddenly needed to check inventory. The cook pretended to be very busy with the grill, which left Sienna. She walked over, notepad in hand, trying to keep her hands from shaking. "What can I get you?" she asked. Vincent looked up at her. His eyes were strange. Cold, yes. Dangerous, absolutely. But there was something else there. Something almost sad. "Coffee," he said. His voice was deep. Rough. Like gravel and whiskey. Black. Sienna poured the coffee. Her hands didn't shake. She'd learned a long time ago how to be steady when everything inside her was falling apart. Vincent watched her. Really watched her. "You're not afraid of me," he said. It wasn't a question. Sienna met his eyes. "I've got bigger things to be afraid of than men in expensive suits." The corner of his mouth twitched. Almost a smile. Not quite. "What's your name?" "Sienna." "Sienna." He said it slowly, like he was tasting it. "You work here every day?" "Every day. Double shifts on weekends." "Why?" The question caught her off guard. Nobody ever asked why. They just saw the tired waitress and moved on with their day. "My brother's sick," she heard herself say. "Medical bills." Vincent nodded slowly. He drank his coffee in silence. Then he stood up, left a $100 bill on the counter, and walked out. Sienna stared at the money. That was 3 days of tips in a single moment. She didn't see him again for 2 days. December 22nd. 3 days before Christmas. Sienna was walking home from her shift at the diner. It was 11 at night. The streets were empty. Cold wind cut through her thin jacket. A black car pulled up beside her. The window rolled down. Vincent Kane looked out at her. "Get in," he said. "I don't think so," Sienna replied. "I have a job offer for you." 1 night of work. $50,000. Sienna stopped walking. $50,000. That was a sixth of what she needed for Tommy. A sixth of the impossible goal she'd been chasing for 2 years. What kind of job? She asked carefully. Get in. I'll explain. Every instinct told her to run. This was Vincent Kane. This was the man who'd allegedly burned down a rival's warehouse with the rival still inside. But $50,000. She got in the car. The interior smelled like leather and expensive cologne. Vincent sat beside her in the back seat. A driver she couldn't see clearly sat up front. What's the job? Sienna asked. Vincent turned to face her. In the dim light of the car, his scar seemed darker, more pronounced. I need a girlfriend, he said. Sienna blinked. Excuse me? For Christmas dinner. My family has certain expectations. Every year, they expect me to bring someone. Someone respectable. Someone who makes them believe I'm capable of normal human relationships. And you're not. Vincent's smile was cold. What do you think? Sienna studied him. Why me? You could hire a professional actress. A model. Someone who actually knows how to play this kind of game. Because you're real, Vincent said simply. You don't flinch. You don't simper. You look at me like I'm just another customer who needs coffee. That's what I need. Someone who won't try too hard. 1 dinner? 50,000. 1 dinner. For hours, maximum. You sit beside me. You smile. You make polite conversation. You let them believe we're together. That's all. Sienna's mind raced. This was insane. This was dangerous. This was $50,000. Why so much money for 1 dinner? She asked. Vincent's expression darkened. Because my family is more dangerous than yours could ever imagine. Because if you mess this up, there will be consequences. Because I need someone who understands what's at stake and won't crack under pressure. What's really going on? Vincent was quiet for a long moment. Then, my father's dying. This is his last Christmas. He wants to see me settled before he goes. If I show up alone again, there will be problems. Problems that could tear apart everything I've built. There was something in his voice. Something raw. Sienna thought about Tommy. About the way he smiled even when the chemo made him so sick he could barely lift his head. About the medical bills stacked on her kitchen table. About the impossible math that never, ever worked out. I want the money up front, she said. Half now, half after. Vincent smiled. A real smile this time. It transformed his face. For just a second he looked almost human. Deal, he said. They shook hands. His grip was firm. Warm. Calloused. These were hands that had held guns and signed death warrants. But they were also just hands. Christmas dinner is at 6 p.m. I'll pick you up at 5:30. Wear something nice. I'll send a dress over tomorrow. I can dress myself, Sienna said. Not for this, you can't. My family will notice every detail. The dress, the shoes, the jewelry. It all has to be perfect. Sienna nodded. She was already regretting this. Already feeling the weight of what she'd agreed to. Vincent handed her an envelope. 25,000. Count it. Sienna opened the envelope. Inside were neat stacks of $100 bills. More money than she'd ever seen in her life. I trust you, she said, closing the envelope. Vincent raised an eyebrow. Why? Because if you were going to cheat me, you wouldn't have picked me in the first place. You'd have picked someone who wouldn't notice. That smile again. Warmer this time. Smart, he said. That's good. You'll need to be smart. The car stopped outside Sienna's apartment building. It was a rundown place in a bad neighborhood. Broken streetlights. Graffiti on the walls. Vincent looked at it. His expression was unreadable. This is where you live. It's what I can afford. He nodded slowly. After Christmas, that changes. I'll make sure of it. The deal was for 50,000. I know what the deal was. Before Sienna could respond, he leaned forward and told the driver, make sure she gets inside safely. Watch until the lights come on. Sienna got out of the car. She walked to her building, felt the weight of the envelope in her bag, and didn't look back. Behind her, the black car idled until her apartment lights flickered on. Then it drove away into the night. December 23rd. The dress arrived at noon. Sienna opened the box with trembling hands. Inside was the most beautiful thing she'd ever seen. Deep emerald green. Silk that felt like water. Simple but elegant. The kind of dress that cost more than her monthly rent. There were shoes too. Black heels with red soles. Louboutins, according to the box. And jewelry. Real jewelry. A necklace with a single diamond pendant that caught the light and threw rainbows across her walls. There was a note. Wear your hair down. No makeup except lipstick. Red. You're supposed to look elegant, not desperate. VK. Sienna laughed despite herself. The man had opinions about lipstick. She spent the next day in a state of surreal anxiety. She visited Tommy at the hospital. He was having a good day. His eyes were bright. His smile was real. You look excited about something, he said. He was 12, but looked 9 now. The cancer had stolen his weight, his hair, his childhood. I got a catering gig, Sienna lied. Rich family. Good pay. That's great, see. Tommy reached for her hand. His fingers were so thin. You work too hard. I work exactly hard enough, she said, squeezing back gently. She didn't tell him about the money. Not yet. Not until she'd actually made it through this dinner and gotten the second half. Don't jinx it, she thought. December 24th. Christmas Eve. Vincent's car pulled up at exactly 5:30. Sienna had been ready for an hour, pacing her apartment, second-guessing everything. The dress fit perfectly. The shoes made her legs look longer. Her hair fell in dark waves past her shoulders. The red lipstick made her look older, more confident. She looked at herself in the mirror and barely recognized the woman staring back. The knock on the door made her jump. It wasn't Vincent. It was a man she'd never seen before. Tall. Built like a tank. Tattoos covering his neck. Miss Sienna? Mr. Kane sent me to escort you down. Sienna grabbed her purse, a simple black one that looked ridiculous next to this dress, and followed the man downstairs. Vincent was waiting beside the car. He was wearing a different suit. Charcoal gray. A dark red tie. He looked like he'd stepped out of a magazine spread about powerful men who destroyed lives before breakfast. When he saw Sienna, he went very still. Well, she asked, suddenly self-conscious. Will I pass inspection? Vincent walked toward her slowly. He stopped just inches away. Close enough that she could smell his cologne. Something with cedar and smoke. You're perfect, he said quietly. The way he said it made something flutter in Sienna's chest. Something she had no business feeling about a man like Vincent Kane. We should go, she said. Vincent nodded. He opened the car door for himself. They drove in silence for the first 10 minutes. The city passed by outside. Christmas lights everywhere. Families walking together. Normal people living normal lives. Tell me about your family, Sienna finally said. What should I know? Vincent was quiet for a long moment. My father's name is Victor. He built the organization from nothing. He's dying of heart disease. The doctors say he is weeks, maybe days. This is his last Christmas. I'm sorry. Vincent glanced at her. Don't be. He's not a good man. He never was. Then why are we doing this? Because he's still my father. And because if I don't show up with someone appropriate, my uncle will use it as proof that I'm unfit to lead. He'll challenge me. There will be war. People will die. Vincent's jaw tightened. A lot of people. Sienna absorbed this. Who else will be there? My mother, Catherine. She's cold. She'll judge you on sight. Don't let it get to you. My younger sister, Lucia. She's 19 and studying art in Paris. She's the only decent one in the whole family. My uncle, Antonio. He's the one who wants my position. He'll try to intimidate you. Probably make inappropriate comments. Ignore him. That's it. There will be guards. Other family members. Associates. Maybe 40 people total. But those 4 are the ones who matter. What's our story? How did we meet? Vincent smiled slightly. The truth, actually. You were working at a diner. I came in for coffee. We started talking. I was drawn to how real you were. How you didn't treat me differently despite knowing who I was. That's almost romantic, Sienna said. Romance sells better than I hired you because I'm incapable of maintaining actual human relationships. Despite everything, Sienna laughed. Vincent looked at her, something surprised in his expression. What? She asked. Nothing. It's just you laugh easily. That's rare. Life's too short not to laugh. In my world, life's definitely too short. The humor drained from the moment. They drove in silence again. The city gradually changed around them. Rougher neighborhoods gave way to nicer ones. Then to wealthy ones. Then to the kind of neighborhood where you needed permission just to drive through. The car turned onto a private road. At the end was a mansion. No, mansion didn't cover it. This was an estate. 3 stories of stone and glass. Columns at the entrance. Fountains in the front. Gardens that probably required a full-time staff. Holy hell, Sienna whispered. Welcome to the family home, Vincent said dryly. The car stopped at the entrance. Vincent got out, then offered his hand to help Sienna out. The moment her heels hit the cobblestones, his entire demeanor changed. He put his hand on the small of her back. Possessive. Protective. He leaned close to her ear. From this moment on, we're in love. You adore me. You think I'm capable of good things.
You believe in me. Can you do that?
Sienna looked up at him. At this man who'd killed people. Who ran an empire built on fear and violence. Who was, somehow, trusting her with his entire future. I can do that, she said softly. Good. His hand tightened slightly on her back. Stay close to me. Don't leave my side unless I say it's okay. And Sienna? Yes. Thank you for doing this. Before she could respond, the front doors opened. A woman stepped out. Catherine Kane. She was beautiful in a terrifying way. Late 50s but looked 40. Blonde hair pulled back in a perfect twist. A dress that probably cost more than Sienna's entire wardrobe combined. Her eyes were ice. Vincent, she said. Her voice was cultured. Polished. Cold as winter wind. You're late. Only by 5 minutes, mother. Catherine's gaze shifted to Sienna. Up and down. Assessing. Judging. And who is this? Vincent's hand pressed against Sienna's back. A reminder. You're mine. We're in love. This is Sienna, Vincent said. My girlfriend. Catherine's expression didn't change. How? Unexpected. Please come in. Your father is waiting. They followed her inside. The interior was even more overwhelming. Marble floors. Crystal chandeliers. Art on the walls that probably belonged in museums. And people. Everywhere. Men in expensive suits. Women in designer dresses. All of them watching as Vincent and Sienna walked through. All of them wondering who this girl was. Sienna kept her head up. Kept her expression calm. Kept her hand in Vincent's as he led her through the crowd. They entered a dining room. A long table. Set for 40 people. Gold plates. Crystal glasses. Centerpieces made of white roses and holly. At the head of the table sat an old man. Victor Kane. He was dying, you could see it. His skin had a gray pallor. His breathing was labored. But his eyes were sharp. Alert. Dangerous. Vincent, he said. His voice was a rasp. Come here. Vincent led Sienna to the head of the table. Father, this is Sienna. Sienna, my father, Victor. Victor studied Sienna with those sharp eyes. Pretty girl, he said finally. What does a pretty girl want with my son? Sienna felt every eye in the room on her. This was the test. This was the moment where she earned $50,000 or condemned Vincent to whatever war was waiting. She smiled. Not fake. Not performative. Real. Your son makes me feel safe, she said simply. In a world that's not very safe, that matters. Silence. Then Victor laughed. It turned into a cough, deep and wet, but it was still a laugh. Safe. She thinks you make her feel safe, Vincent.
Did you hear that?
I heard it, Vincent said quietly. Victor nodded.
Sit.
Both of you. Let's eat. It's Christmas, after all. Dinner was a performance. Sienna sat beside Vincent, hyper-aware of every movement, every word, every glance. The food was incredible. Courses kept coming. Lobster, filet mignon, truffle pasta, wines that probably cost more per bottle than Sienna made in a month. She picked at everything, too nervous to actually eat. Vincent noticed. Under the table, his hand found hers. Squeezed once. "You're doing fine," the gesture said. Across from them sat Antonio, Vincent's uncle. He was in his 50s. Still handsome, but going soft around the middle. His smile never reached his eyes. "So, Sienna," he said during the third course. "Vincent tells us you work at a diner?" "Here we go," Sienna thought. "I do," she said. "How quaint. Must be quite a change being here. Different from serving coffee to truck drivers, I imagine." "Antonio," Catherine said sharply. But the damage was done. Everyone was listening now. Sienna met Antonio's eyes. She thought about Vincent's warning, about how this man wanted Vincent's position, about how he'd use anything as a weapon. "It is different," she agreed. "At the diner, people are honest about who they are. They don't hide behind expensive suits and fake smiles. I like that honesty." Silence. Then Lucia, Vincent's sister, laughed. A bright, genuine sound. "Oh, I like her," Lucia said. She was beautiful, 19 with her mother's features but her brother's dark eyes. "Vincent, where have you been hiding her?" "I haven't been hiding her," Vincent said. His hand was still holding Sienna's under the table. "I've been keeping her away from all of you." Victor laughed again. That wet, dying laugh. "Smart boy," he wheezed. "This family would eat a sweet girl alive." "I'm not that sweet," Sienna said before she could stop herself. Vincent's hand squeezed hers. A warning or encouragement, she couldn't tell. But Victor was smiling. Really smiling. "No," he said, studying her with those sharp eyes. "No, I don't think you are." "Good. Vincent needs someone with spine." The dinner continued. Sienna found herself relaxing, just slightly. Lucia kept asking her questions about normal life, clearly fascinated. Catherine remained cold, but stopped openly judging. Antonio glowered, but stayed quiet. And Vincent. Vincent kept his hand in hers the entire meal. It should have felt like part of the act. A performance for his family. But it didn't. It felt real. After dinner, Victor requested to speak with Vincent privately. "You should come too," Victor said, pointing a shaking finger at Sienna. "If you're important to my son, you should hear this." They followed him to a study. Rich mahogany furniture. Bookshelves filled with leather-bound volumes. A fireplace crackling in the corner. Victor settled into a chair with obvious pain. "Shut the door," he told Vincent. Vincent did. They stood together, Sienna and Vincent, and waited. Victor looked at them for a long moment. His breathing was labored. Each breath seemed to cost him. "I'm dying," he said bluntly. "You know this. Everyone knows this. I have maybe a week, maybe less." "Father," Vincent started. "Let me finish." Victor held up a hand. "I built this organization. I killed for it. I lied for it. I sacrificed everything for it. My morals. My humanity. My family." He looked at Catherine's portrait on the wall. "My marriage." Vincent said nothing. "And now I'm dying, and I'm wondering what it was all for. Power? Money? Fear?" Victor's laugh was bitter. "None of it matters when you can't breathe without pain. When you wake up knowing each day might be your last." He turned his sharp gaze to Sienna. "You, girl. Do you love my son?" Sienna's heart stopped. This was it. The real test. She thought about lying, about giving him what he wanted to hear. But something in those dying eyes demanded truth. "I barely know him," she said quietly. "But I think he's more than what people say he is. I think there's something good buried under all the armor." Victor nodded slowly. "And you, Vincent? Do you love her?" Vincent's hand found Sienna's again. "Yes," he said. "It was a lie. It had to be a lie. They'd met 4 days ago. This was a business arrangement. But the way he said it, Victor smiled. You're lying. But I appreciate that you're willing to lie for her. That's something. He coughed, deep and wet. When he pulled his hand away from his mouth, there was blood on his palm. Father. Vincent stepped forward. I'm fine.
Sit down.
Both of you. They sat. Victor leaned back in his chair. Antonio is going to challenge you. You know this. Yes. He'll move fast. Probably, within days of my death. He has support. The families in the South End. The dock workers. Some of the old guard who think you're too young, too soft. I'm not soft. I know you're not. But perception matters in this life. Victor's eyes moved to Sienna. Her. She changes the perception. A man in love is a man who has something to lose. A man with something to lose fights harder.
Smarter.
She's not part of this, Vincent said firmly. After tonight, everything changes, Victor interrupted. They've seen her now. They know about her. Antonio will use her if he can. As leverage. As a weakness. He looked at Sienna. Do you understand what I'm saying, girl? Sienna's mouth was dry. You're saying I'm in danger. I'm saying you were in danger the moment you walked through that door. Vincent should have known better. But my son has never been good at protecting the people he cares about. I don't care about her, Vincent said. But his hand tightened on Sienna's. This is business. Victor's smile was sad. You're a terrible liar, boy. You always have been. He leaned forward. Listen to me carefully. Both of you. The war is coming. When I die, everything I've built will be up for grabs. Antonio will strike. Others will follow. It will be bloody. Brutal. Fast. I can handle Antonio, Vincent said. Can you? While also protecting her. While also holding the organization together. While also dealing with the families and the police, and everyone else will see my death as an opportunity. Victor shook his head. You're good, Vincent. Maybe better than I ever was. But you're not invincible. Silence filled the room. Outside, they could hear the party continuing. Laughter. Music. The sounds of people pretending everything was fine. What do you want me to do? Vincent finally asked. Victor looked at his son, with something like love. Something like regret. I want you to survive, he said simply. I want you to build something better than I did. And I want you to protect that girl, because if you don't, her blood will be on both our hands. He reached into his pocket.
Pulled out a small key.
Safety deposit box. Bank of Switzerland, downtown branch. Box 1247. Everything you need to know about Antonio's operations. His contacts. His weaknesses. His secrets. I've been preparing for this for months. Vincent took the key. Why are you helping me? Because you're my son. And because... Victor's voice cracked. Because I failed you in every other way. Let me do this one thing right. They left the study 20 minutes later. The party was still going. Guests were drinking expensive champagne and laughing at jokes that weren't funny. Lucia found them immediately. There you two are. Come on, they're about to do the Christmas toast. She dragged them back to the dining room. Everyone gathered around the table. Glasses were raised. Victor stood at the head, looking gray and exhausted. To family, he said, his voice barely carrying.
To blood.
To loyalty. And to Christmas. May we all survive it. It was the strangest toast Sienna had ever heard. Everyone drank. Then Catherine stepped forward with a box. And now a tradition. The Christmas mistletoe. She held up a sprig of mistletoe. Oh no, Sienna thought. Vincent, Sienna, you're the guests of honor. Come here. Vincent's jaw tightened. But he led Sienna to the center of the room. Catherine held the mistletoe above their heads. Well, she said, her cold smile in place. It's tradition. Everyone was watching. This was another test. Another performance. Vincent looked down at Sienna. His dark eyes held a question. Is this okay? Sienna gave the tiniest nod. Vincent cupped her face in his hands.
Slowly. Gently.
His thumbs brushed her cheekbones. I'm sorry, he whispered, so quiet only she could hear. Then he kissed her. It was supposed to be for show.
Quick. Performative.
Nothing real. But the moment his lips touched hers, something happened. The world fell away. There was no party. No watching eyes. No pretending. There was just Vincent. His lips soft despite everything. His hands warm against her face. His breath mixing with hers. Sienna's hands came up to his chest. She could feel his heart pounding. Or maybe that was her own heart. The kiss deepened. Somewhere far away, people were cheering, whistling, laughing. But here, in this moment, it was just them. Vincent pulled back slowly. His eyes were dark, intense. Sienna, he started. But Catherine was already ushering them apart, already moving on to the next part of the party. Sienna's lips tingled. Her head spun. That wasn't acting. That wasn't pretending. That was real. And from the look in Vincent's eyes, he knew it too. The party wound down around 11. Guests started leaving, calling for cars, saying goodbyes. Vincent and Sienna stood in the foyer, preparing to leave. You did well tonight, Vincent said. He'd been distant since the kiss. Careful not to touch her. Better than well. They believed it. So did I, Sienna said before she could stop herself. Vincent went very still. Before he could respond, Antonio appeared. Vincent. A word. Not now, Antonio.
Now.
Antonio's smile was sharp. He looked at Sienna. Alone. Vincent's hand moved to Sienna's back. Anything you have to say to me, you can say in front of her. Can I? Antonio stepped closer. His breath smelled like whiskey.
Fine.
Let me be clear, nephew. That little performance tonight? The sweet girlfriend? The true love act? It changes nothing. When Victor dies, and he will, very soon, I'm taking what's mine. There's nothing of yours to take, Vincent said coldly. We'll see. The families are tired of your modernization, your softness, your ridiculous ideas about going legitimate. Antonio's eyes slid to Sienna. And bringing in civilians? Making them targets? That's exactly the kind of weakness I'm talking about. Careful, Antonio. Or what? You'll kill me? At your father's Christmas party? In front of your precious girlfriend. Antonio laughed. You've already lost, Vincent. You just don't know it yet. He walked away. Vincent stood frozen, his hand tight on Sienna's back. Vincent, she said softly. What did he mean, making me a target? Vincent closed his eyes. We need to leave.
Now.
They got in the car. The moment the doors closed, Vincent's control shattered. I'm sorry, he said. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have brought you here. I shouldn't have put you in the middle of this. I knew what I was signing up for.
No.
You didn't. You thought it was just dinner. Play pretend for a few hours and collect your money.
But now.
He ran his hands through his hair. Now they've seen you. Now they know you exist. Now Antonio will use you to get to me. Sienna's blood ran cold. What do you mean, use me? Vincent looked at her. His eyes were dark with something like despair. In my world, when you want to hurt someone, you don't go after them directly. You go after the people they care about. You make them watch as you destroy everything they love. His voice cracked. And I just painted a target on your back. But this isn't real, Sienna said. We're not really together. Once Christmas is over. It doesn't matter. They think it's real. And in this life, perception is all that matters. The car drove through the night. Sienna's mind raced. This was supposed to be simple. One dinner. $50,000. Help Tommy. Now she was a target. Now she was in danger from men who killed people for a living. What do I do? She asked quietly. Vincent looked at her for a long moment. You disappear, he said finally. I'll give you the rest of the money tonight. Plus more. Enough to take care of your brother, start over somewhere new. Somewhere far from here. Somewhere Antonio can't find you. Run away. Survive. There's a difference. Sienna thought about Tommy. About finally having the money to save him. About starting over in some new city where nobody knew her name. It should have been perfect. So why did her heart ache? What about you? She asked. I'll handle Antonio. It's my problem. He said you were outnumbered, that the family support him. I'll figure it out. Vincent. I said I'll handle it.
His voice was sharp.
Then softer. I'm sorry. I'm not angry at you. I'm angry at myself. The car stopped outside Sienna's apartment. Vincent pulled out an envelope. 100,000. The 50 we agreed on, plus 50 more. Take your brother and disappear. Tonight. Sienna stared at the envelope. $100,000. Tommy could get treatment. They could start over. She'd never have to work 3 jobs again. All she had to do was leave. Leave Vincent to face a war alone. Leave him to die, probably because Antonio had support and Vincent didn't. Leave him. She pushed the envelope back.
No, she said.
Vincent stared at her. What? I said no. I'm not taking the money. I'm not running. Sienna, you don't understand what you're saying. These people will kill you without blinking. They'll make you suffer first. They'll. I understand perfectly. Sienna met his eyes. But I made a deal. 1 dinner. And that dinner isn't over until Christmas Day ends. That's tomorrow. The deal is off. I'm releasing you from it. I don't release you from it. Sienna's heart pounded. You said you needed someone who wouldn't crack under pressure. Someone real. I'm that person. And I'm not going anywhere until our deal is complete.
Why?
Vincent's voice was raw. Why would you risk your life for a stranger? Sienna thought about the kiss. About the way he'd held her hand under the table. About the look in his eyes when he'd said yes to his father's question about love. Maybe you're not as much of a stranger as you think, she said quietly. Vincent stared at her for a long moment. Then he pulled her into his arms. It wasn't romantic. It was desperate. Like a drowning man grabbing a life preserver. You're insane, he whispered into her hair. Probably, she agreed. He pulled back. His hands framed her face, just like before the kiss. If you stay with me. Not here. Somewhere I can protect you. Somewhere Antonio can't reach you. Okay. I'm serious, Sienna. From this moment on, your life isn't your own. You go where I say. You do what I say. No arguments. I can handle that. Can you? Can you really handle having no freedom? No control? Can you handle watching people die? Because they will die. This war is coming, and it's going to be bloody. Sienna thought about Tommy. About working 3 jobs just to watch him waste away. About feeling helpless and powerless every single day. I've been powerless my whole life, she said. At least this time, I'm choosing it. Vincent's expression softened. He leaned his forehead against hers. You're going to get us both killed, he whispered. Or we're going to survive together. Together, Vincent repeated. Like he was testing the word. I don't do together. Learn. And there, in the car outside her rundown apartment building, something shifted. This wasn't a business arrangement anymore. This wasn't pretending. This was real. And terrifying. And neither of them could stop it. Sienna woke up in a bedroom she didn't recognize. Silk sheets. Floor-to-ceiling windows. City lights spread out below like stars fallen to earth. For a moment, she panicked. Where? Then she remembered. Vincent's penthouse. Downtown. Top floor of a building he owned. After leaving her apartment last night, they'd driven here. Vincent had stationed guards at every entrance. Had swept every room for bugs. Had made her promise not to leave without telling him. She'd fallen asleep on his couch, fully dressed. Someone must have carried her to bed. The thought made her face warm. She got up, found her clothes from yesterday neatly laid out on a chair. The green dress. The shoes. There were new clothes too. Jeans. A soft sweater. Her size. How did he? A note was pinned to the sweater. Breakfast in the kitchen. Don't leave the apartment. V. Sienna changed and ventured out. The penthouse was massive. Modern. Clean lines and expensive furniture. Everything in blacks and grays and whites. The kitchen was at the far end. Vincent stood at the counter, making coffee. He was wearing jeans and a black t-shirt. No suit. No armor. Just him. He had tattoos. She'd never noticed before. They covered his arms. Intricate designs.
Dates.
Names. A story written in ink. You're awake, he said without turning around. Coffee, please. He poured 2 cups. Handed her one. Their fingers brushed. Neither of them mentioned it. It's Christmas, Sienna said. So it is. Do you celebrate? Vincent's smile was bitter. Not in a long time. They sat at the kitchen island in silence, drinking coffee,
Not quite looking at each other.
My father died 2 hours ago, Vincent said suddenly. Sienna's cup stopped halfway to her lips. What? Catherine called. He went in his sleep. Peaceful, apparently. As peaceful as men like my father get to be. Vincent's expression was unreadable. The funeral will be in 3 days. Private ceremony. Then, he trailed off. Then the war starts. Then the war starts. Sienna set down her cup. What's the plan? The plan is you stay here. I handle Antonio. Vincent.
No.
Listen to me. He turned to face her fully. His eyes were intense. Antonio will move fast. Probably today. He'll try to consolidate support while everyone is still reeling from my father's death. I need to move faster.
How?
The safety deposit box. My father's information on Antonio. I need to get it. Use it. Turn the families against him before he can turn them against me. Vincent ran his hand through his hair. But that means leaving you here. Alone. For at least a few hours. I'll be fine. Will you? Antonio knows about you now. He'll come after you, if he thinks it'll hurt me. So let him come. Sienna surprised herself with the venom in her voice. I'm not as helpless as I look. Vincent studied her.
No.
I don't think you are. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a small gun. Do you know how to use one of these? Sienna stared at the weapon. Black metal. Compact.
Deadly. No.
Then learn. He placed it on the counter between them. Safety here. Point and shoot. Don't hesitate. Don't warn them. Just shoot. Center mass. Keep shooting until they stop moving. Vincent, I can't. Yes, you can. Because if Antonio's men break through my guards and get up here, they won't give you a choice. They'll hurt you. Use you.
Kill you.
In that order.
His voice was flat.
Matter of fact. Terrifying. I need to know you can protect yourself if it comes to that. Sienna looked at the gun. This was insane. 24 hours ago, she was a waitress. Now she was learning how to kill people. But Tommy needed her alive. Vincent needed her alive. She picked up the gun. It was heavier than she expected. Show me, she said. Vincent left at noon. 4 guards stayed with Sienna. 2 at the penthouse entrance. 2 on the floor. She spent an hour pacing, looking out the windows at the city below, wondering if this was all a terrible mistake.
Her phone rang.
Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. Hello. Is this Sienna? A man's voice.
Cultured. Cold.
Who is this? My name is Antonio Kane. I believe you met me last night. Sienna's blood turned to ice. How did you get this number? I have access to everything, my dear. That's how power works. Antonio's smile was audible. I'm calling to make you an offer. I'm not interested. You haven't heard it yet. Walk away from Vincent.
Today.
Disappear. In exchange, I'll give you $200,000 and guarantee your safety and your brother's safety. Sienna's grip tightened on the phone. How do you know about Tommy? I know everything about you, Sienna Martinez. Age 28. Born in Chicago. Moved here 6 years ago. Father died when you were 16. Mother remarried and cut contact. Little brother Tommy, age 12, dying of leukemia at Mercy Hospital. Antonio's voice was pleasant, conversational, like he was discussing the weather. I even know about the medical debt, the 3 jobs, the desperation that led you to accept Vincent's offer. Leave Tommy out of this. I'm trying to, child. That's why I'm calling. Walk away from Vincent. Let him face his fate alone. In exchange, Tommy gets his treatment. You get your money. Everyone wins. Except Vincent. Vincent is already dead. He just doesn't know it yet. When I move against him, and I will very soon, there will be casualties. I'm offering you a chance to not be one of them. Sienna thought about the gun Vincent had given her, about the way he'd taught her to use it, about the look in his eyes when he'd said he was sorry for dragging her into this. No, she said. Silence on the other end. Then, I'm sorry to hear that.
I really am.
You seem like a nice girl. Unfortunately, nice girls don't last long in this world. Is that a threat? It's a fact. But I'll give you until midnight to reconsider. After that, Antonio's voice hardened. After that, you become a legitimate target. Do you understand what that means? It means you'll try to kill me. Not try, dear. Succeed. I don't fail. He paused. Midnight. Choose wisely. The line went dead. Sienna stood frozen, phone in hand, heart pounding. One of the guards appeared in the doorway. Everything okay, miss? I need to talk to Vincent. Now. Vincent returned at 4 in the afternoon. His face was grim. We have a problem, he said the moment he walked in. Antonio called me, Sienna blurted out. Vincent froze. What? She told him everything. The offer. The threat. The midnight deadline. Vincent's expression turned murderous. He called you directly. He threatened your brother. Vincent's voice was cold. Controlled. The kind of control that comes before violence. That means he has people inside my organization. People feeding him information. What do? We move.
Now.
This penthouse isn't safe anymore. None of my properties are safe. Vincent pulled out his phone. Made 3 quick calls. There's a place. Off the books. Not even my father knew about it. We'll be safe there while I clean house. Clean house. Find the traitor. Deal with Antonio. End this. Vincent looked at her. Are you still with me? Sienna thought about running. About taking Antonio's offer. About $200,000 and Tommy's safety. But she also thought about Vincent. About the man who'd held her hand at dinner. Who'd kissed her like she mattered. Who'd trusted her with his life. I'm still with you, she said. The safe house was an hour outside the city. A cabin in the woods. Simple. Rustic. Nothing like Vincent's penthouse. They arrived after dark. 2 of Vincent's most trusted men came with them. Brothers, apparently. Leo and Marcus. Both built like tanks. Both covered in scars. You 2 stay outside, Vincent told them. Anyone comes up that road, I want to know about it. Yes, boss. Vincent and Sienna entered the cabin alone. It was small. 1 room with a bed, a kitchenette, a bathroom. A fireplace in the corner. It's not much, Vincent said. It's safe. That's all that matters. Vincent started a fire. The cabin was cold. December wind howled outside. They sat in front of the flames. Not touching. Not talking. My father's files, Vincent finally said. They had everything. Antonio has been skimming from the organization for years. Millions of dollars. Hidden accounts. Offshore holdings. Enough to get him killed 10 times over. So, you have leverage. I have evidence. But evidence only matters if the right people see it. Vincent stared into the fire. I called a meeting. Tomorrow night. All the family heads. I'm going to show them what Antonio's been doing. Turn them against him. And if they side with him anyway, then I lose. And then I die. Vincent's voice was matter of fact. And then Antonio comes after you. Sienna moved closer. Their shoulders touched. We're not going to lose, she said. How can you be so sure? Because you're too stubborn to die. And because I'm not losing you now. Vincent turned to look at her. The firelight played across his face. Made his scar look softer. Made him look younger. Sienna, he said softly. What are we doing? I don't know, she admitted. But I know I don't want it to stop. This thing between us. It's not real. It can't be real. We met 3 days ago. This is just adrenaline.
Proximity.
Survival instinct. Is it? Sienna turned to face him fully. Is that what that kiss was? Survival instinct. Vincent's jaw tightened. That kiss was a mistake. Was it?
Yes.
Because now I can't stop thinking about it. About you. About what it would be like if we were just normal people. If I was someone different. If this life was different. Sienna reached up, touched his face, traced the scar that ran from his eyebrow to his cheek. How did you get this? She asked softly. My uncle. When I was 16, I challenged him in front of my father. Said he was stealing. He took a knife and... Vincent's voice trailed off. My father did nothing. Just watched. When it was over, he told me that was the price of speaking truth in this family. I'm sorry. Don't be. It taught me an important lesson. In this world, truth doesn't matter. Only power matters. I don't believe that. You should. Sienna leaned forward. Her lips were inches from his. Vincent, she whispered. I know this is crazy. I know we barely know each other. I know tomorrow you might die, and I might die, and everything might fall apart. But right now, in this moment, I need you to kiss me. Not for show. Not for your family. For us. Vincent's control shattered. He kissed her. And this time, there was no pretending. His hands were in her hair. Her hands were on his chest. They were falling back onto the floor in front of the fire. Sienna, he gasped between kisses. We shouldn't. I know. This is dangerous. I know. I could lose you. Then don't. They made love in front of the fire. Slowly. Gently. Like they had all the time in the world instead of possibly just hours. Vincent touched her like she was precious. Like she was something worth protecting. Sienna held him like he was human. Like he was more than the killer everyone said he was. Afterward, they lay tangled together. The fire crackled. Outside, wind howled. I think I'm falling in love with you, Vincent whispered. And I have no idea what to do about it. Sienna pressed closer. Fall. I'll catch you. What if I drag you down with me? Then we'll drown together. Vincent held her tighter. For the first time in his life, he let himself believe in something good. Sienna woke to Vincent screaming. She bolted upright. He was thrashing in his sleep, face twisted, hands clenched. Vincent. She grabbed his shoulders. Vincent, wake up. His eyes snapped open. Wild. Unseeing. Then focus returned. Sienna. He was breathing hard, covered in sweat despite the cold room. You were having a nightmare. Vincent sat up, ran his hands through his hair. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to wake you. What was it about? My first kill. His voice was flat. Dead. I was 16. My father made me prove myself. Put a gun in my hand. Told me to shoot a man who'd stolen from us. Vincent's hands were shaking. I can still see his face. Still hear the sound. The way he fell. The blood. Sienna pulled him close. You don't have to. Yes, I do. If you're going to be with me, you need to know what I am. What I've done. Vincent pulled back. Met her eyes. I've killed 17 people, Sienna. 17. Some deserved it. Some probably didn't. I told myself it was necessary. That it was part of the life. But in my dreams, they all come back. Vincent. My father was right. I'm not fit for this life. I'm too soft. Too weak. I care too much. His voice cracked. And now I've dragged you into it. And if you die because of me. Sienna kissed him. Soft. Gentle. Grounding. I'm not going to die, she said against his lips. And neither are you. We're going to survive this. Together. Remember? Vincent rested his forehead against hers. I don't deserve you. Good thing I don't care what you deserve. Despite everything, he laughed. They spent the morning in the cabin. Making breakfast. Talking. Learning each other. Sienna told him about Tommy. About watching her little brother get sick. About the helpless rage of not being able to save him. Vincent told her about Lucia. About how he'd protected his sister from their father's world. About how she was the only good thing his family had ever produced. They were almost happy. Then Vincent's phone rang. One look at his face told Sienna the happiness was over. It's Leo, Vincent said. Something's wrong. He answered. What is it? Sienna couldn't hear Leo's words, but she watched Vincent's face turn to stone. When? A pause. How many? Another pause. I'm on my way. He hung up. What happened? Sienna asked. Antonio moved. He hit 3 of my warehouses simultaneously. Killed 15 of my men. Took the others hostage. Vincent was already moving.
Getting dressed.
Checking his gun. He's declaring war. What do we do? You stay here. Leo and Marcus will protect you. I'm going to the meeting tonight as planned. If I can turn the families against Antonio, this ends. If I can't. He didn't finish the sentence. I'm coming with you. Absolutely not. Vincent, if you go alone. If I bring you, you're a target. At least here, you're hidden. Protected. He cupped her face.
Please, Sienna.
I can't focus on what I need to do if I'm worried about you. Sienna wanted to argue, but she saw the fear in his eyes. Not fear for himself. Fear for her. Okay, she said quietly. But you come back to me. Promise. I promise. He kissed her. Long, deep, like it might be the last time. Then he was gone. Sienna spent the afternoon pacing. Leo and Marcus stood guard outside. She could see them through the window. Alert.
Armed.
Ready. She tried not to think about Vincent walking into a room full of killers. Tried not to think about Antonio's threat. Tried not to think about what would happen if Vincent didn't come back. At 4 o'clock, her phone rang. Unknown number. Against her better judgment, she answered. Hello.
Sienna.
It's Lucia. Vincent's sister. Sienna relaxed slightly. Lucia. Is everything okay?
No. No, it's not.
Lucia's voice was shaking. Antonio has me. He took me from my apartment an hour ago. He says if Vincent shows up to the meeting tonight, he'll kill me. Sienna's blood ran cold. Where are you? I don't know. Some warehouse. He's using me as leverage. Sienna, you have to warn Vincent. Tell him not to come. Tell him. The phone was yanked away. Antonio's voice came on. Hello again, Sienna. Let her go, Sienna said through clenched teeth. She has nothing to do with this. She has everything to do with this. She's Vincent's weakness. Just like you are. Antonio's voice was pleasant, cheerful. But I'm willing to make a trade. Lucia for you. What? Come to the warehouse. Alone. I'll let Lucia go. You'll take her place. Vincent gets to keep his beloved sister. I get the leverage I need. Everyone wins. Except me. Well, yes. Except you. But you strike me as the self-sacrificing type. Am I wrong? Sienna thought about Lucia. 19 years old. The only good thing in Vincent's life besides Sienna herself. She thought about Vincent's face when he talked about his sister. The love. The protectiveness. She thought about what losing Lucia would do to him. Where? She asked. Antonio gave her an address. You have 1 hour. Come alone. If I see any of Vincent's men, Lucia dies. If you tell Vincent, Lucia dies. If you're even 1 minute late. He didn't finish the sentence. The line went dead. Sienna stood frozen. This was a trap. Obviously. Antonio would kill both of them. But if she didn't go, Lucia would die for sure. And Vincent would never forgive himself. She looked out the window. Leo and Marcus were still there. Between her and the car. She couldn't get past them. Unless. Sienna went to the bathroom. Opened the window. It was small but she could fit. She climbed through. Dropped to the ground on the other side of the cabin. The car was 50 feet away. Vincent had left the keys. She ran. Miss Sienna? Marcus's voice. He'd spotted her. She didn't stop. She reached the car. Jumped in. Started the engine. Marcus was running toward her. Miss Sienna, wait. She hit the gas. The car shot forward. Down the dirt road. Toward the highway. Toward the address Antonio had given her. Toward almost certain death. Sienna's hands were white-knuckled on the wheel. She thought about Vincent. About the morning they'd spent together. About the way he'd looked at her like she was the only good thing in his life. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm so sorry. But she kept driving. The address was on the docks. Abandoned warehouses. Rusted shipping containers. The smell of salt and decay. Sienna parked the car. Got out. The gun Vincent had given her was in her waistband, cold against her skin. She walked toward the largest warehouse. The door was open. Inside was darkness. "Hello," she called. Lights came on. Blinding. She raised her hand to shield her eyes. When her vision cleared, she saw them. Antonio stood in the center, smiling, flanked by 10 men with guns. And on her knees in front of him, hands tied, face bruised, Lucia. "Sienna?" Lucia's voice was desperate. "You shouldn't have come. Such a sweet reunion," Antonio said. He walked toward Sienna slowly. "You actually came. I'm impressed. Most people have better survival instincts." "I'm here. Let her go." "Let her go? Why would I do that? I have both of Vincent's women now. That's twice the leverage." Antonio's smile widened. "Did you really think I'd honor our deal?" Sienna's hand moved toward the gun. "I wouldn't," Antonio said. He nodded. 3 red laser dots appeared on Sienna's chest. Snipers. "You'd be dead before you pulled it out." Sienna's hand stopped. "Smart girl. Now, here's what's going to happen. Vincent is at the meeting right now. He's showing the families my financial records, trying to turn them against me." Antonio checked his watch. In about 10 minutes, he's going to get a text. A photo of you and Lucia, tied up, at gunpoint, with a simple message: "Step down or they die." He'll never step down. Won't he? For his sister? For the woman he loves? Antonio stepped closer. Vincent's weakness has always been that he cares too much. He'll choose you over power. And the moment he steps down, the families will know he's weak. They'll side with me. And then, Antonio made a gun with his fingers, pointed it at Sienna's head. Bang. "You'll kill us anyway." "Of course. But Vincent doesn't need to know that until it's too late." Footsteps behind Sienna. She turned. More men, blocking the door. She was surrounded. Antonio nodded to his men. "Tie her up, next to the sister. Let's make this photo really dramatic." 2 men grabbed Sienna. She fought, kicked, scratched. It didn't matter. They were too strong. They forced her to her knees beside Lucia, tied her hands behind her back. Rough rope that cut into her skin. "I'm sorry," Sienna whispered to Lucia. "I'm so sorry." "It's not your fault," Lucia said. Her eyes were full of tears. He would have found another way. Antonio stood in front of them, raised his phone. "Smile, ladies. This photo is going to change everything." The flash went off. Sienna closed her eyes. This was it. This was how it ended. She'd tried to save Vincent. Instead, she'd given Antonio exactly what he needed to destroy him. "Perfect," Antonio said, looking at the photo. "Vincent is going to love this." He hit send. Somewhere across the city, Vincent's phone would buzz. He'd see the photo. He'd know he'd lost. And it was all Sienna's fault. The meeting was at Antonio's restaurant. Neutral ground. All the family, heads gathered around a long table. Vincent stood at the head. He'd laid it all out. Antonio's theft. The hidden accounts. The evidence his father had collected. The families had listened in silence. Now they were voting. All in favor of removing Antonio from his position and transferring his holdings to Vincent, the mediator said. Hands went up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was majority. Vincent had won. Antonio was finished. Then Vincent's phone buzzed. He almost ignored it. This was too important. But something made him look. A photo. Sienna and Lucia. Tied up. Guns pointed at their heads. A message. Step down now, or they die in 10 minutes. Vincent's world stopped. Vincent, the mediator said. The vote is finished. You've won. Antonio is. Vincent wasn't listening. He was looking at Sienna's face in the photo. At the fear in her eyes. At the ropes cutting into her wrists. At his sister beside her. Bruised. Terrified. the two most important people in his life, at gunpoint. Because of him. Antonio stood up. Something wrong, nephew? Everyone turned to look at Vincent. His hands were shaking. His carefully constructed control was crumbling. You have them, Vincent said quietly. You have Sienna and Lucia. Antonio's smile was victorious. I do. And if you don't step down right now in front of everyone, they die. You have 10 minutes to decide. Power or the people you love. Silence in the room. The families looked at each other. This changed everything. The mediator cleared his throat. Vincent, you've won the vote. Antonio has no power to. He has my sister. He has. Vincent's voice broke. He has Sienna. Then we'll send men. Will. There's no time. 10 minutes. He'll kill them. Antonio stood. So, what's it going to be, Vincent? You can have power. You can have everything your father built. All you have to do is let two people die. That's the price. That's always been the price. He spread his hands. Or you can step down. Give me everything. Lose. But they get to live. Vincent looked down at the photo. At Sienna's eyes. She was mouthing something. He zoomed in. Don't do it. She didn't want him to sacrifice everything for her. But how could he not? You have 5 minutes, Antonio said, checking his watch. Vincent's mind raced. If he stepped down, he lost everything. Antonio would take over. And then he'd kill Sienna and Lucia anyway, because men like Antonio didn't leave loose ends. If he didn't step down, Antonio would kill them to prove a point. Either way, they died. Unless. Vincent looked up at Antonio. I accept your terms, he said slowly. I'll step down. But I want proof they're alive first. Video call. Let me talk to them. Antonio considered this. Then shrugged. Why not? You get to say goodbye. He dialed. Put his phone on speaker. The video call connected. Sienna's face appeared. Lucia beside her. Both tied up. Both scared but alive. Vincent, Sienna said. Her voice was steady despite everything. Don't do this. Don't give up everything for you? Vincent said softly. I'd give up the world for you. Tears ran down Sienna's face. I love you, Vincent said. To hell with everyone listening. To hell with showing weakness. I love you, and I'm going to get you out of this. There's no way out. Antonio's voice came through the phone. 3 minutes, Vincent. Decide. Vincent looked around the table. At the family heads. At the men who'd just voted for him. At the power he'd spent his whole life building toward. Then he looked back at the phone. At Sienna's face. No contest. I'll step down, he said. Right now. In front of everyone. Just let them go. Vincent, no. Sienna's voice. Antonio's laugh echoed through the phone. How touching. Unfortunately, I lied. The screen went black. But before it did, Sienna shouted 3 words. The old ducks. Then the call ended. Antonio was still laughing. Did you really think I'd let them go? They know too much. They've seen too much. They're dead no matter what you. Vincent moved. Fast. Faster than anyone expected. He grabbed his gun. Pointed it at Antonio's head. Where are they? His voice was cold. Dead. The voice of a killer. The old docks are big. Where exactly? Antonio's smile didn't falter. Kill me, and you'll never find them in time. My men have orders. If I don't check in every 5 minutes, they shoot. Then we have 5 minutes. Vincent looked at the families. I'm going after them. Anyone who wants to help, come. Anyone who stands in my way, dies. He walked out. Behind him, chairs scraped. The families were following. Because in that moment, Vincent Kane had shown them something more powerful than ruthlessness. He'd shown them loyalty. And in this world, loyalty was everything. The old docks. Vincent arrived with 20 men. The families had sent their best. Their most dangerous. But there was no time for strategy. No time for planning. For minutes until Antonio's men pulled the trigger. Vincent kicked open the warehouse door. Sienna? Gunfire erupted. Vincent dove, behind a shipping container. Bullets pinged off metal. Sparks flew. 6 hostiles, Leo shouted. He'd been guarding Sienna, had followed when she ran, had called Vincent the moment he realized where she was going. Sniper positions. They have the high ground. Where's Sienna and Lucia? Center of the warehouse. 3 guards on them. 3 minutes. Vincent looked around.
His men were pinned down.
The snipers had them contained. Going in directly meant death. But Sienna was in there. Vincent made his choice. He stood up. Vincent. Leo grabbed for him. You'll be. Vincent ran. Straight into the open. Straight toward the center of the warehouse. Bullets chased him. He felt one graze his shoulder. Another his leg. Pain exploded. He didn't stop. Sienna?
He saw her.
Tied up. Eyes wide. Vincent, get down. He dove behind a crate. Breathing hard. Blood soaking his shirt. The men guarding Sienna raised their weapons. Vincent was faster. 3 shots. 3 bodies dropped. He ran to Sienna. Lucia. Pulled out a knife. Cut the ropes. Can you walk? He asked Lucia. Yes. Then run. Leo will cover you. Lucia stumbled toward safety. Vincent turned to Sienna. Her wrists were bleeding. Her face was bruised. She'd never looked more beautiful. You came, she whispered. Always. He helped her up. Can you run? With you? Anywhere. They ran. Behind them, the snipers opened fire. Vincent's body covered Sienna's. He felt bullets hit.
1, 2,
3. He kept running. They reached cover. Vincent collapsed. Vincent. Sienna's hands were on his chest. Red spreading. So much red. Vincent, stay with me. I'm fine, he lied. Everything hurt. Everything was going dark. You're bleeding. Just a scratch. He smiled up at her. Blood on his teeth. You're safe. That's all that matters. Sienna was crying. Don't you dare. Don't you dare die on me. Not planning to. Vincent's eyes were closing. But if I do, know that these were the best 4 days of my life. Vincent. Darkness. 3 days later, Sienna sat beside Vincent's hospital bed. She hadn't left since they brought him in. 3 bullets. 1 in the shoulder. 1 in the leg. 1 had grazed his ribs. The doctors said he'd been lucky. Sienna didn't feel lucky. She felt like she'd aged 10 years in 4 days. Vincent's eyes opened. Hey, he said. His voice was rough. Hey yourself. Sienna squeezed his hand. You've been asleep for 3 days. Did I miss anything good? Just Antonio being arrested. Turns out when you have evidence of financial crimes and attempted murder, even protected crime bosses go to jail. Sienna smiled. The families turned on him. Gave testimony. He's looking at life without parole. Good. Vincent tried to sit up. Winced. Lucia? She's fine. Scared, but fine. She's been here every day. Catherine too, actually. My mother came. She brought flowers. And an apology. A real one. Sienna's expression softened. She said she'd never seen you fight for something the way you fought for me. Said maybe she'd been wrong about you. Vincent absorbed this. What about you? What about me? Are you okay? Did they hurt you? Just some bruises. Nothing permanent. Sienna leaned forward. Vincent, you took 3 bullets for me. I'd take 30. That's not romantic, that's stupid. Vincent laughed. Then winced again. Don't make me laugh. It hurts. Good. Maybe you'll think twice before running into gunfire next time. There won't be a next time. Vincent's expression grew serious. I'm out, Sienna. I told the families. I'm stepping away from all of it. The business. The organization. Everything. Sienna stared. What? I can't do this anymore. I can't live this life. Not after I almost lost you. Not after I realized what actually matters. He reached for her hand. I have money. Legitimate investments. Enough to live well without the crime. I'm going clean. Vincent, that's your whole life.
No. You're my whole life now. If you'll have me.
He looked uncertain for the first time since she'd met him. I know this is fast. I know we barely know each other. I know I come with a lot of baggage and probably PTSD and definitely trust issues. But Sienna, I love you. And I want to build something real with you. Something good. Sienna's eyes filled with tears. What about Tommy? She asked. I paid for his treatment. All of it. He's starting next week. The doctors are optimistic. Vincent smiled. I hope that's okay. I know you wanted to do it yourself, but... Sienna kissed him. It hurt his ribs. He didn't care. I love you, she said against his lips. I love you, you ridiculous, self-sacrificing idiot. Is that a yes? That's a yes. They held each other in a hospital room, surrounded by beeping machines and the smell of antiseptic. It should have been miserable. Instead, it felt like coming home. 1 year later, Christmas again. December 24th. 1 year later, Sienna stood in the kitchen of their new house. Not a mansion, not a penthouse, just a house. 3 bedrooms. A yard. Normal. She was making cookies. Christmas music played on the radio. Vincent came in from the living room. He'd been setting up the tree with Tommy. Tommy, who was 13 now, whose hair had grown back, who'd been in remission for 8 months, who had a future. The tree is lopsided, Vincent announced. It's perfect, Sienna corrected. It's leaning to the left. It's rustic. Vincent laughed. He wrapped his arms around her from behind, rested his chin on her shoulder. Happy? He asked, deliriously. It had been a hard year. Vincent leaving the organization had caused waves. Some people understood. Others didn't. There had been threats, attempts to pull him back in. But Vincent had stood firm. He'd started a legitimate security company, used his skills for legal means, helped people who needed protection. He was good at it. And more importantly, he could sleep at night. Sienna had gone back to school. Psychology. She wanted to help kids like Tommy. Kids going through impossible things. They were building a life. A real one. The doorbell rang. I'll get it, Tommy called. A moment later, voices in the living room. Lucia had arrived. With her new boyfriend. A art student from Paris. Completely normal. Completely terrified of Vincent. Vincent, be nice, Sienna warned. I'm always nice. You threatened her last boyfriend. He deserved it. He asked her out for coffee. Exactly. Sienna laughed and pulled him toward the living room. Their house filled with people. Lucia and her boyfriend. Catherine, who was trying to rebuild her relationship with her children. Leo and Marcus, who'd retired but still visited. Some of Sienna's friends from school. Normal people. Normal lives. At dinner, they sat around the table. The food wasn't fancy. Just roast chicken and vegetables and potatoes. Store-bought rolls. It was perfect. Vincent stood, raised his glass. A year ago, my father made me bring a fake girlfriend to Christmas dinner. I thought it would be simple. 4 hours. $50,000.
Done.
He looked at Sienna. Instead, it changed my entire life. For the better, Sienna added. For the better, Vincent agreed. I lost my father. I lost my position. I nearly lost my life. But I gained something more valuable. I gained a family. A real one. One built on love instead of fear. He turned to Tommy. To you, kid. For being stronger than any of us. To Lucia. To you, for always believing I could be better. To Catherine. To you, for finally trying. And finally, to Sienna. And to you, for seeing something worth saving in a man everyone said was beyond redemption. For choosing me every day. For loving me when I didn't deserve it. Sienna's eyes filled with tears. Vincent knelt beside her chair. Which brings me to this. He pulled out a small box. Sienna's hands flew to her mouth. Sienna Martinez. Will you marry me? Will you let me spend the rest of my life, proving I'm worthy of you? Will you? Yes, Sienna said. Yes, yes, yes. Vincent slipped the ring on her finger. It was simple. Beautiful. Nothing like the ostentatious jewelry from his old life. It was perfect. The table erupted in cheers. Tommy was whooping. Lucia was crying happy tears. Even Catherine was smiling. Vincent stood, pulled Sienna into his arms. "I love you," he whispered. "I love you too."
They kissed.
And this time, there was no pretending, no performance, no fear, just love. Real, messy, complicated, beautiful love. Later, after everyone had gone home, Sienna and Vincent sat in front of their fireplace. "Do you miss it?" Sienna asked. "The power? The organization?" Vincent was quiet for a moment.
Sometimes.
"The certainty of it. The control. Knowing exactly who I was and what my role was. But this is better. This is real." He pulled her closer. "I'd rather have one real moment with you than 1,000 powerful moments in that world." Sienna rested her head on his shoulder. Outside, snow began to fall. Fat flakes drifting past the windows. The city was quiet, peaceful. "Do you remember what you said to me in the car that first night?"
Vincent asked.
"Which part?" "You said you had bigger things to be afraid of than men in expensive suits." He smiled. "You weren't afraid of me. Should I have been?" "Probably." Vincent's smile faded. "But I'm glad you weren't. If you had been, you would have run. And I would still be in that world. Alone. Dying slowly from the inside out. Instead I'm here. With you. Building something real. Something good." He turned to face her. "You saved me, Sienna. You didn't fix me.
You didn't change me.
You just saw me.
The real me.
And you stayed." Sienna cupped his face, traced the scar that ran from his eyebrow to his cheek. "I stayed because you were worth staying for," she said simply. They sat together as the snow fell, as Christmas lights twinkled outside, as the fire crackled and popped. Two people who'd found each other in the darkest circumstances. Two people who'd chosen love over fear.
Two people who'd survived. And thrived.
"Merry Christmas, Vincent," Sienna whispered. Vincent held her close. "Merry Christmas, Sienna." And for the first time in his entire life, Vincent Kane knew what it meant to be truly, completely happy. If you love the story, please like and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me where you're watching from and whether you believed in Vincent and Sienna's love. And remember, sometimes the best things in life come from the worst circumstances. Sometimes the person you're not supposed to fall for is exactly the person you needed all along. Thank you for watching.